in session, parties and counsel are present. All members of our jury are present. Our witnesses back on the witness stand. Mr. Moline, you may recross.
Thank you. On Ret, you were asked about Monday morning quarterbacking.
Just the objection to that was sustained.
Bless you.
I agree. It was sustained. But just to be clear, when I was asking you questions about the search warrant, I was asking you about what you had requested of the judge when you went into the judge to have it sign the search warrant.
On which case? Scope, relevance.
Objection sustained is cumulative.
The shopping center video that you gathered, you indicated on redirect that it was, the information you had was vague. Was that your testimony?
It still is, yes.
Okay. So if it was vague, why not be overly cautious and take 3 days worth of surveillance?
Because of the man hours that it would incorporate to view something that was really outside of the scope of what I was told.
You had a missing family, 2 missing babies. And what was the man hours? You watched countless hours
Objection.
of border video.
Argumentative.
Objection sustained is argumentative and cumulative.
You watched countless hours of border video.
Same objection.
Mr. Moline, you've covered this. I sustain the objection. I assume you know what that means.
Yes.
Then move on.
Did you have enough time to view a few extra days of the surveillance camera at the shopping centers?
Argumentative. Objection.
Sustained is cumulative.
The black light, the UV light, whatever that apparatus was that we saw, and I'll put up Exhibit 47. And you referred to your own, I guess, black light that was issued to you, is that correct?
That's correct. I know when I came down the side.
Do you still have it?
I do.
Did you ever bring it? Did you bring it to court?
Did I bring it to this court?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Now, the one that was issued to you, does it have what's the energy source? Is it a battery or do you plug it in?
It's battery.
Okay. So did you examine this particular light?
Examine it as in open it up to see what energy source it provides that energy.
Take a look at it, see what the energy source was, what it was, who the manufacturer was, whatever.
I didn't look at it any more than I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. And you certainly didn't collect it as evidence, correct?
I did not, except for it's documented in the photograph, which is evidence.
Gotcha. You made a comment that the private investigator that Patrick McStay hired was a fraud. Did you say?
Absolutely my belief.
Okay. And who are you referring to?
James Spring.
So based on that answer, do I have it right? Would it be right that that there perhaps was some animosity between yourself and Patrick McStay?
Objection. Relevance.
Who wrote the answer?
I had no animosity towards Patrick McStay. I had a belief that the private investigator that he hired was using Patrick's money or wherever he was being paid to make himself pay and go to Mexico and make a story. And he had the media chasing him.
Okay. And did you share that with Mr. McStay?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustained.
Sustained?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay, let me just go back to that light in that really not 47. in that light, the one that's issued to you, it's basically to look for saliva and semen, correct?
That's how I've been trained.
Not blood, right?
No, I've never been trained to use the UV light for blood.
I forget the date that you said, but eventually you transferred this case to the FBI, is that correct?
Yes.
It's in your report, I just don't recall the date. I had it up here.
March 12, 2013.
There you go. March 12, 2013. And you did that after you indicated you've exhausted all leads and so forth, correct?
That's correct.
And up to that point, you never changed your position that there was zero evidence of any foul play in the house. Is that correct? And that's what you briefed the FBI on.
I still profess that in my investigation, that's all I know. There was no evidence of foul play in that house.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I had a couple of things I wanted to clarify. You were asking questions about Joseph McStay's cell phone. And you indicated the last outgoing call on his cell phone was, if my notes are correct, on February the 4th at 8:28 p.m. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I think you indicated it was less than a minute.
Less than a minute.
Were you able to determine if somebody answered that call, or a voicemail was left, or it just rang and there was no answer?
I was not able to determine that, but I know who the call went.
That was going to be my next question. I'm assuming that you checked to see what number and who it was.
Yes,
And whose number was it?
the defendant.
And prior to the bodies being discovered, did you ever ask the defendant any questions about that phone call?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to impose an objection. I'm sorry. I apologize.
And the objection is?
It's going to exceed the scope of my direct.
Overruled. That's kind of the privilege of the judge. Although I have sustained objections that I've asked him.
I do need to be heard. I'm sorry. It'll be brief.
All right, never mind. So that was one thing. When you were talking about the policy for, in 2010,
Yes.
on a missing person report, missing person's report is taken, it goes to the missing persons division or unit.
Actually, it goes to an area detective. Area detective is a lower level of detective that does property crimes, station crimes.
Okay, and then that area detective has 10 days to see if he can basically figure out what's going on. Can he locate the family, figure out where they might be? If he comes up with nothing after 10 days, then he refers it to homicide,
That's correct.
he or she.
That's correct.
So in this case, let's assume for the moment that after Deputy Kingley was there on the 15th, and he clears the house. He says, okay, there's nobody in the house, there's no deceased people, no injured people, no sick people, no sleeping people, no one just hanging out in the bedroom, hiding down watching TV, no unauthorized people, no evidence of forced entry, no evidence of violence or struggle or blood or anyone being injured in the house. Says, okay, they're not in the house, it's a missing person, I'm gonna turn it over to the area detective. Okay?
You're saying hypothetically?
Yeah, let's assume he did that.
Yes.
And he turns it over to the area detective with that information, saying, my information is they have not been seen for at least 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, would that area detective then still have 10 days to follow up and check, or would he or she immediately turn it over to homicide because they've already been missing for 10 days?
In my experience, that case is gonna come right to me right away.
Okay, okay,
Or the homicide unit, shouldn't say me.
right, I understand. And that's because they've already been missing for 10 days, so we're not gonna spend another 10 days just kind of doing preliminary checking.
Correct.
Okay. I thought there was one other thing I wanted to ask. When you were there on the 15th, you indicated there were a number of newspapers in one of the rooms on the floor, pretty much covering the floor.
The living room, the front living room by the front door.
Okay. I'm assuming you didn't see anything that looked like blood or anything that caught your attention on the papers?
I looked, there was not.
Okay. Okay, anything else by Lisa?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor. I assume you want detective subject to recall?
Yes, please.
Sure. So you're excused for now, maybe back later.
I can hardly wait.
Okay. Do we have our next witness here?
Yes, sir. People will call Elva Fonseca, please.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can we approach? Or the witness is called?
Right, so record reflects we're back in session in open court. It appears I need to review some materials before the next witness is called. That's going to take a little while.
Your Honor, if I may, for efficiency, we're willing to take a witness out of order to fill up the rest of the day and
Oh, okay.
address that issue later so the court can review its notes in the record.
Okay, that's fine.
We do have another witness here and able to accomplish that.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
hate to waste
Call
the
it,
jury's
yeah.
time.
Before we do that, can we actually have this witness ordered back for a particular date that is convenient for her, Your Honor?
Do it tomorrow?
No, tomorrow doesn't work for her, so
Okay,
we'll find out.
well, tell me when.
The court would like me to call the other witness first and then...
Well, no,
Okay.
let's clarify this first.
Sure.
So it would be Tuesday, January 29th, Your Honor?
Okay. So, Ms. Fonseca, you're ordered back to this court for Tuesday, January the 29th at 9:15 in the morning, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, you can call your next witness then.
Thank you. The people called Dennis Williams, please.
truth from the state, and testimony you shall give in the matter of before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
State your full name and spell it for the record.
Yes, it's Dennis Williams, and it's D-E-N-Y-S Williams, W-I-L-L-I-A-M-S.
Okay, you ready to proceed?
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, how are you? Thank you.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
So what do you do?
I knit and relax.
And sit out in strange courthouse hallways.
Yes, it's somewhere different.
Okay. So what did you do in your past life before you retired?
I was a forensic evidence technician.
For whom?
First for San Diego Police Department, and then for San Diego Sheriff's Department.
And how long did you do that collectively?
Approximately 20 years.
And can you recite for the, and so how recently did you retire?
March of 2014.
So you've been retired a good 5 years now, almost 5. Can you tell us what training and experience you have to hold that position up until 2014?
My training included my education in this because a local community college near where I lived actually had a class in administration and justice with an emphasis on evidence technology and had a 2-year program, an AS degree. So a lot of the classes, because of that, were involved with, of course, evidence technology. So that was part of my training, and that lasted approximately 2 years. And I also had classes, in-classes from San Diego Police Department and the San Diego Sheriff's, and also classes taught by the Department of Justice, the FBI, Northwestern University in Chicago, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and assorted others. I mean, the International Association for Identification has a lot of classes and conferences.
And what was a lot of that training in?
It was in photography, latent print development and collection, latent print identification, bloodstain pattern identification, shoe and tire print collection, and photography in those different, the shoe and tire print, the blood, the fingerprints, and such as that.
And over the years that you worked in those positions, did you have an opportunity to exercise what you had learned in those fields on a case-by-case basis or an investigation-by-investigation basis?
Yes, I did.
Had you ever worked a missing persons case of a family of 4 up until 2010?
No.
So in February of 2010, did you happen to be called out to a residence on Avocado Vista Lane in the town of Fallbrook?
Yes, I did.
And for what purpose?
It was I was told that we had a missing persons case and to meet there, and then we had a briefing. So at that point it was just meet tomorrow morning, I think it was, at 10 a.m. and we have a missing persons case.
And did you respond to 3437 Avocado Vista Lane that day?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately what time you got there?
I believe it was 10. It might have been a little after. We might have met at a different location first and then gone over to the house. It seems like it was about 10. I can refer to my notes.
10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
It wasn't at night, right?
No.
And I'm sorry, was this February 19th of 2010?
Yes.
And so when you get to that residence, who are you with?
I met with Detective DuGal and criminalist Rosanna Chang and Dana Castro. And I think that Detective Fisk might have been there. And at some point, there were other detectives, or there might have been someone from the Department of Justice working with us that day too.
Who did you primarily work with that day?
Primarily Detective DuGal.
And what was your responsibilities from the point you arrived at the house in dealing with the investigation of that property?
It was pretty much the same thing that my responsibilities always are, which is to take photographs, to collect evidence and to package evidence and take it back to the crime lab to be impounded.
And do you make the determination of what is evidence and what should be collected, or does someone else?
Everybody can be involved in that. So if I see something that I think is evidentiary, then I would mention it to the detective.
Okay, so there's a mentioning of it, but who makes the decision to collect it or document it in other ways?
We always have an agreement that if anybody sees anything that they want collected, we'll just collect it. Because someone might have a reason, especially detectives, because they have a lot more insight into things. A lot of times I don't know quite what a whole story is, I just know I'm there. And I might not know, there might be a piece of paper that I might pass over because I don't know some backstory that makes that piece of paper really important. But if I saw a piece of paper that I thought was really important, and I said I really want to take this, we just would take it.
So initially when you get to the house, what do you do?
Initially, before anyone else goes in, I go in and take photographs.
And at this point, what is your purpose of taking photographs at that initial entry?
At that house, I'm sorry, because really the first thing, I suppose, is a briefing. But at the briefing, I've been told that there was a missing family. And I didn't have a lot of information, but I knew that the family was missing. I knew that they'd been missing for a little while, but I wasn't sure how long. And I knew because of the briefing that it was very strange. There had been eggs, or I think it was eggs left on the counter, and the dogs had been left alone in the backyard, and they had barked and such. But after the briefing, I went inside and took photographs. And as I go through an area, once I was done photographing, then somebody else could come in, the detectives could come in and begin doing whatever they were going to do at that moment while I was finishing taking photographs.
After you finish taking the overall initial photography, what would be your next step?
And again, in this case, it was a long time on the initial photography. I ended up taking, I think it was 745 photographs, and a great many of them were before any evidence began to be collected. So I took all the photographs of all the rooms and the outside, and about that time it was time then to see what point the detectives were at, and it was time to take closer-up photographs of the items that they had decided to collect.
And is that the process that was followed, at least at this point in the investigation of that house?
Yes.
So what I initially want to do with you is walk you through a lot of your photographs of what you initially took pictures of to kind of walk us through to see what the house looked like. Is that okay?
Yes.
And to be fair, you had an opportunity to look at a lot of these photographs prior to testifying today. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you remember seeing those photographs?
I do.
And when you looked at their file names, were the file names of those digital photos unique?
Yes.
Can you explain that for us?
On that camera, we were so excited when we got that new camera because it turned out that you could put any 3 digits or letters or anything in there. So of course we all put our initials on there because that was just the best thing ever to us, that we could always identify our photographs because we put our initials as a part of the name instead of that IMG _ 0001. It could be, in my case, DRW _ 0001.
So if we saw a digital file image that started with DRW, there's a high likelihood that's a photo you took on that camera that you could personalize.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with exhibit number 20. 20. And they're going to come up both on the big screen behind you, the big TV screens, as well as the computer monitor right in front of you. So look at whichever one you think is the best for your view. Looking at exhibit 20, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize it?
It's a photograph of the front of the house.
As to all these photographs, are they fair and as we go through them, are they going to be fair and accurate depictions of what you saw that day?
Yes.
Okay. So then I'm going to move to exhibit number 21. Can you tell us where we're at?
Getting ready to go in the front door of the house.
And can you tell us what is located at the bottom left of the photograph number 21 in front of the doorway? Do you remember that?
No,
Okay. You don't recall what that is?
no.
Okay. Moving to Exhibit 22. Just narrate, please, where are we now?
Inside the front door, and now I see what looks like shoes by the front door outside.
Exhibit 23, please tell us now what we're looking at.
Walking along the side of the living room towards the family room and kitchen.
And at this point, to your knowledge, has any of the detectives or other crime scene processing crew gone into the house and moved anything around to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
So at least to your knowledge, you're the first one in that day to start taking pictures.
Yes.
Okay. Moving to Exhibit 24. Where are we now?
In the living room.
Just a little bit looking, I guess, to the right as we went in the door.
Yes, just a little further inside the house.
And here's the dining room table and 2 chairs, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next is 25. Now where are we?
In the same location, just a different view of it.
Again, a little further to the right of that living room.
Yes.
26.
Yes, the same location, a little further right.
And there's a pile of stuff there. Do you see that?
I do.
Do you remember what that is?
Laminate, wood.
Okay. And where was that located in relation to the front door?
It seemed like it was pretty close to the front door. It was at that end of the living room, the front door end.
Exhibit number 27. Please tell us what we're looking at now.
At the same room, the same living room, table and chairs and the laminate in the background.
Exhibit number 28. Kind of the same.
Yes.
Exhibit number 29. What are we looking at here?
Near the front door, some shoes on the carpet, laminate on the left of those.
And the discolor, do you see the discoloration of the carpet?
Yes.
What does it look like to you?
Objection, foundation, speculation.
Some kind of stain or removal of color from the carpet.
In your experience, what kind of things would cause a removal of color from a colored carpet?
Cleaning fluids, bleach, things like that.
Have you seen that before in other investigations?
I have.
Is that pattern or coloring, is that consistent with things that you've seen in the past?
I don't recall if I saw pattern along with this.
Okay. At least the coloration, is it something you've seen in the past?
Yes.
Exhibit number 30, what are we looking at here?
The laminate with some kind of jacket or something on top of it.
Do you recall ever examining to see if that was a youth jacket or an adult jacket?
I don't think I did because I wouldn't have really stopped what I was doing at this point, and I don't remember going back, and I don't remember examining that, no.
And I guess at this point, at the time you would have taken this picture, or even further in your investigation, did you have any relative idea of what would be significant or not significant?
No.
Even to this day, do you look at these photographs and wonder if that was significant or not significant?
I do.
Exhibit number 31, where are we now?
Heading into the family room and kitchen?
From the living room?
Yes.
32.
Looking at the kitchen?
There's a doorway in the back past what looks like the refrigerator and stove, is that right?
Yes.
And do you know where that doorway led to?
I believe that's the doorway into the office.
33.
Looking at the kitchen?
I guess a little to your, more to your right as after you entered that area?
Yes.
We've heard the description earlier with Detective DuGal's testimony. I want to make sure we're somewhat consistent. How would you describe this kitchen and other larger area attached to it so we know how you're referring to it?
The combination of
Yes.
the kitchen, you could call it a great room.
Okay, well that's good because I think that was the phrase that was used earlier, so we'll be
Oh.
consistent. Exhibit number 34. What are we looking at now?
Looking a little further right,
Is that a sliding glass door that I'm looking at past the table?
yes it is,
And where does that lead?
to the backyard.
35?
Looking a little further right in that great room.
I see at this point a carpet. Is that right, or a rug?
Yes,
What is the whitish flooring material around it, next to it, possibly underneath it?
tile I believe.
Is it tile or linoleum?
I don't know,
Do you remember?
no,
Was it something of significance to you at that point?
no.
Okay. And then looking a little further to your right, exhibit 36. What do we- what do we got here?
A futon sitting on the carpet.
Is that the edge of a fireplace I'm seeing on the right-hand side?
Yes,
And the chair from the previous photo, 35, is that the leg I'm seeing to the left?
yes.
37, can you please tell us what we're seeing here?
Still looking more towards the right to the fireplace and a television.
Are you now looking back across the family room area from somewhat the area you walked into or from?
Yes, it's just getting ready to keep going right and looking back the way I came in.
The black and white object to the bottom right of exhibit 37, is that the edge of the futon?
Yes,
Okay. 38, can you please describe the view for us?
it's even a little more further right. I would suspect there's a photo in between that last one and this one that would have covered that doorway
Okay.
that I had come in, but yes, looking even further right.
So you're telling me I may have missed one in pulling relevant exhibits?
Just based on my experience with my taking of photographs, I think so.
You're fairly sequential in the photography you take at this stage?
I try really hard to catch it all.
Okay, well, do not let our oversight hinder your ability to describe the scene for us, please. Exhibit number 39.
A table in the great room.
And 40.
A close-up of items on the table in the great room.
I'm going to, give me just a second. I'm going to go to a different viewer for that exhibit. Can we have it back up, Mr. Jackson, please? So, at this point, we had some testimony earlier. Are you looking in depth at items of evidence?
No.
Okay. At some point, were you shown this photograph?
Yes.
When was that?
About a week ago?
Okay. You came by the office to look at the exhibits we were going to show you, right?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, were you shown items that look like that on this photograph when it was zoomed in?
Yes.
And were you asked what you thought it was?
Yes.
What was your reaction when you were shown that?
Objection, relevance and speculation. She's going to say what it is.
Overruled.
Well, my answer is more on what it could be. Does that make sense?
Actually, my first question was, what was your reaction when you saw that?
When I saw it, I was horrified
Why?
because I thought it was something I missed. And that horrified me to think that I would miss that.
You don't recall seeing that day?
I know I didn't see that day.
Okay. Based on your experience of processing crime scenes, did you have a belief of what it could be?
Objection
Yes.
calls for speculation.
Overruled.
And what was that?
I thought it could be blood.
Why?
Based on my experience with the color and the patterning of blood stains and blood spatter, it looked to me like it could very well be blood.
Was there something about the area in which I zoomed in on with these particular spots that specifically, based on your training experience, were significant?
Yes, I thought so.
What?
I'm not a blood spatter examiner. That takes tons more training than I have. But I have had classes in blood spatter, and to me, it looked like...
I'm going to object as to foundation if she is not an expert as a investigation.
Sustained.
Have you seen blood spatter previously, though, in investigations?
Yes,
Have you documented it?
yes,
Have you tested it
yes.
with, was it a hemastick?
No, we use swab and Castlemeyer usually.
Okay. And so you have experience looking at items that are potentially blood spatter, correct?
Yes.
And based on that experience and what training you do have, why were you concerned that you missed this?
Objection as to relevance and foundation.
Well, I was very concerned because if it was blood, I felt like it was something that could have been, at the very least, something. We're doing an investigation, and it would have been something that would have been very good to know then, instead of last week.
At least at this initial stage of the proceeding, what were the characteristics that stuck out to you that made you think that and be concerned about missing it?
Part of the fact is it looked like it had dried some, and then maybe had something white across it. Not white like,
I would object as to foundation and move to strike. She's not an expert on it, she already said it.
The objection sustained.
Move to strike. Any
The
other?
last portion of the last answer is stricken, and the jury is instructed to disregard the last portion of the answer.
Exhibit number 41, you recognize that?
yes,
What are we looking at here?
the counter in the kitchen.
And is, what's in the back? That's not the office, is it?
No, that's the bathroom next to the office.
42?
The kitchen,
And some of the photographs I'm going to show you may now intermingle with the second stage of the proceeding, or of your investigation. When you find things that are significant and you may want to collect, what's the process by which you identify them and document them?
we use number placards for things we're going to collect. We use lettered placards for things that we're going to test for blood or a shoe print or something, a shoe impression that we're not actually collecting.
Okay. So showing you exhibit number 43. Can you please tell us what we see here?
Evidence placard 30,
And that's in a drawer on the island, is that right?
yes.
And 44. Can you tell us what that is?
It's a closer photo of item number 30,
Is that a key you're documenting?
yes.
45.
That same key,
Just a much more zoomed in photo, I take it.
yes.
Okay. 46.
The corner in the kitchen,
47.
the kitchen counter.
Looking which way now?
Looking towards the family room with the front door being off to the right-hand side.
So you would have entered this room, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, between the banister and the wall on which the flat screen TV is hanging.
Yes,
Okay. And the banister is the stairs to the upstairs second story of the house.
yes.
The items on the counter, do you recognize any of them?
I think there were spoons, maybe a glasses case. I don't remember, I don't remember exactly what I saw there.
The item to the right, the black cylindrical item, do you recognize that?
As for what it is, or do I recognize seeing it?
Let's start with, do you remember seeing it there?
Not really.
Okay. But you took a picture of it.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize what it is?
It looked to me like a handheld black light.
And are you issued one of those as part of your job as a forensic technician at the time?
No, we use generally blue lights.
Okay. Would that have been yours or one of your members of your team?
No, it wouldn't have been.
Number 48. What are we looking at?
An area under the counter in the kitchen.
With a paint can on the floor, right?
Yes.
49.
Kitchen drawers.
50.
The combination side-by-side refrigerator and freezer.
Looks generously stocked, does it not?
Yes.
51.
Looking from the kitchen back into the other end of the great room.
Okay. And at this point, when you're taking this picture, whereabouts are you standing?
I'm next to the refrigerator, between the refrigerator and office, sort of.
52.
The bathroom next to the office.
53.
The bathroom next to the office.
Do you recall what that is in the sink?
I'm not sure, but I think a diaper. What
would that diaper be wrapped in if it's red, white, striped?
I don't know, maybe a little piece of clothing. I'm not sure that I even remember it correctly. It just seems to me that that's it involved a diaper.
Okay. 54.
That same bathroom,
55.
the same bathroom.
This is the shower and the wall next to it.
Yes,
56.
the same.
57. Now where are we?
Looking into the office,
58.
the office.
Is that a closet on the left?
Yes.
59.
Further right in the office.
And we're now moving towards, is that the desk in the right-hand side?
Yes.
60.
The desk in the office.
Did you turn that light on by any chance?
No.
It was on when you would have walked in?
Yes.
61.
A little further right in the office.
62.
The area behind the desk, between the desk and the window to the outside.
63.
The desktop.
64.
The blinds behind the desk.
65.
The blinds in the window behind the desk.
Were you trying to document something specific here?
Just to show that disarray of them.
There's two broken ones, right?
Yes.
And then again, some evidence placards, 66. You were attempting to document here,
Yes.
which was?
I believe it was in the office, and I'm not sure. I could look at my notes if you want to know what they are.
Let's try this. Placard 16 on number 67. You see what that is now?
Yes, paperwork and checks.
Let's zoom in a little bit with 68. You see that?
Yes.
If you will indulge me, I'm going to speed up and I'm going to skip a few exhibits. The computer is smarter than me and does it automatically. So now we're looking at 73. This door is where?
I believe that's the door going into the garage.
You have a great memory, because let's look at 74. What is 74?
That's in the garage.
Would you have started left to right to left? What's your habit?
My habit seems to be left to right, I think. I don't think about it, but I think that's what it is.
What would you say the overall condition of this garage was when you photographed it?
I'd say it was very full of things.
75,
Looking a little further right in the garage.
right or left? Oh, I'm sorry. To the right or a little to the right of the last photo?
It's to the right. I'm moving along like this.
Okay, but are you looking at the left-hand side of the garage or the right-hand side of the garage? As you came in the door.
As I came in the door, I'm looking at the left-hand side of the garage.
And so these photos are moving to the right along that left-hand side.
Yes, towards the front of the garage.
Okay, just making sure I was not confused. 76,
Looking towards the garage door.
77,
And looking towards the same garage door that's the door that opens up from the outside, the garage door lift.
the roll-up door?
Yes.
Or the lifted door?
That's it.
Placard 18,
That's assorted paperwork.
yeah, 78. 79,
A little closer view of one of the pieces of paperwork.
80.
And another view of the paperwork.
Do you recall where all this paperwork came from when you photographed it?
I'm not sure because I didn't take it out of a container.
81.
More paperwork.
You said out of a container. Your recollection was it came out of a container?
I think I thought that because it's sitting on the top of a container. And I don't recall unless I saw my initial photos before my search.
Who would have been the person to take it out of a container if that's where it was?
Probably most likely Detective DuGal.
Okay. It would not have been you?
It would not have been me.
Okay. Exhibit number 82.
Is a view of the garage looking more towards the right wall of the garage.
83.
A view looking back towards the door that goes into the house from the garage.
84.
A view looking at the left wall and the overhead door of the garage.
Is this kind of from the right-hand corner as you walked in, looking back across the garage?
Yes, I might be a little ways down that wall though, I think, when I took that photo, but yes.
Exhibit number 85. What is that?
Somewhere in the garage.
Well, does that appear to be the roll-up garage door in the upper left side of the picture?
Yes.
And if we're facing it, that would be facing the right-hand
Right.
side of it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can we use circumstantial evidence to say that must be the front right of the garage?
Yes.
Okay. And in there's a ladder, some tools, a mop and bucket.
Yes.
Let's go back in the house for a minute. Exhibit number 86. You recognize that? What is that?
It's the stairs that go to the second story of the house.
I'm going to focus on the pantry to the right. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at exhibit number 87. What did you placard in here specifically?
There are 2 cameras.
That's number 5 and 6, the placards, correct?
Yes.
Let's go back the stairs. That's 88. Is that right? Is that the stairs?
Yes.
Okay. 89. What are we looking at?
An apple.
That's a couple small bites out, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay. Looks like it's somewhat started to decay a little.
Yes.
Number 90. What are we looking at here?
This is the room it's at the top of the stairs, sort of like a giant landing almost. I think rather than I feel like it's more like just an open area at the top of the stairs.
Okay. Exhibit number 91.
It is looking towards the back of the house, but from the upstairs at some of the rooms.
Okay, so this is as you've come up the stairs into that big landing, multi-purpose area,
Yes,
and you're now looking back towards the stairs.
yes.
What are we looking at in the back end of the second floor here on top of the stairs?
A laundry room and a linen closet.
And what's off to the left?
I think two bedrooms with a bathroom in between them.
So in that laundry room, exhibit number 92, is this it?
Yes,
93, what is that?
the laundry room still.
94,
Battered dog kennel in the laundry room.
95, what is this?
It's a bedroom near the front of the house on the left-hand side of where the stairway came, or on the right-hand side of where the stairway came up.
Let's go into that room, exhibit number 96. Does that look familiar? What are we looking at?
The bedroom,
And what is that big brown thing in the bottom left?
covered sandbox.
Like a kid's play sandbox?
Yes.
Okay. And the other stuff, what is the stuff leaning up against the closet?
It was mirrors or pictures, I'm not sure, picture frames or mirrors.
Exhibit number 97. Where are we looking towards?
Towards another bedroom and the bathroom.
Number 98.
The bathroom,
Let's go in a little bit. 99.
that bathroom.
$100.
Another view of that bathroom.
Sure. Is there towel racks on that wall on the left-hand side?
Yes.
But no towels, right?
No, no towels.
101.
The sink counter in the bathroom.
Was that a double sink?
Yes.
And this would be the right-hand sink if you're facing it, is that correct?
Yes, the one closest to the door.
102. Or 101, sorry, right. 102, sorry.
Bedroom on the left and the bathroom on the right.
That's the doorways.
Yes.
103.
Bedroom.
And inside that bedroom, 104. What are we looking at?
View of the bedroom with children's table and chairs and toys.
105. What are we looking at now?
The master bedroom.
And where is this in relation to the two bedrooms and the bathroom that we just saw?
The bedrooms, as I'm taking that photo, there's a bedroom behind me and over to the, well, there's two bedrooms over to the left of me. And there might have been the bedroom behind me too. I get confused because of the landing and the bedrooms.
Are you standing still in that, now are you back in that big landing area looking into the master bedroom?
Yes.
106. What is this?
The master bedroom.
What is that on the right-hand side?
It's a little plastic play, sort of a playhouse thing.
107.
It's the corner of the one little playhouse and the other corner of the other little playhouse.
So there was two little playhouses in there?
Yes,
108.
the little playhouse.
Do you know what that is laying on the inside?
I'm not sure, I think it might have been a dog bed, but it's, or it could just be a little blanket. I don't know.
109.
The master bathroom and closet.
In that bathroom, did it have a water closet?
I think it did. Well, maybe not.
110.
Yes, it did. That's the bathroom, toilet.
111.
The master bathroom.
Is that the sink counter as you walked in and be what on the left?
Yes,
Is that a double sink also on that counter?
yes.
112.
A linen closet in the master bathroom.
Would it be next to the sink we just talked about?
Yes.
113.
Children's clothes, a towel, and some sponges and something else sitting on by the sink in that master bathroom.
I'm going to point up here on the screen, but I'm pointing to the top sponge, the discolored, that has some discoloration and some type of substance on it. Did you notice that at the time?
No,
Did you think to test that at the time?
no.
Was there anything about it that made you go, I don't know what that is, or I should ask further, or is it an oversight?
I don't remember even noticing it.
$114.
The sink top in the master bathroom?
And these photos were as you first went in to photograph, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall at any time possibly moving those clothes, or someone on the team moving those clothes, so other photography could be taken?
No.
Okay. Is it possible it could have happened?
It's possible, but they usually stay well out of my way when I'm taking photos, so it's hard to imagine.
Well, at least initially, right? And then when you go
Yes.
back to tag certain pieces of evidence and photograph closer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So sometime later after the initial photography, is it possible those clothes could have been moved in order to utilize the counter space to photograph other items?
It could have been if I stepped, I'd have to see the order of my photos where I'm taking them in order, because if I just took the photo and they weren't there, and I haven't left that bathroom yet, then that wouldn't have happened. But if I left that bathroom and went into one of the other bedrooms and came back, then it could
Okay.
have happened.
To your experience using that camera at the time, were the image file names sequential? So it'd be your initials and then an image number. Were they sequential?
Yes, they were.
So if this image number is in, let's say, the 300s, and there's a later image in the 700s, those would not have been sequential to each other in timing, correct?
That's true.
So there would have been a substantial gap in time between them?
There could have been.
Okay. Or at least a substantial activity of photo taking in between them, right?
Yes.
And that photo taking would take time, right?
Yes.
Okay. 115. What are we looking at?
Clothes on the floor in the master bathroom.
116.
A look into the closet of the master bedroom.
And the point of reference is that backpack on the left, correct?
Yes.
To connect from the previous photo to this photo.
Yes.
117.
Another look at the items in the master bedroom closet.
118.
The items on the master bedroom closet floor.
119.
More of the items on the master bedroom closet floor.
120.
Items on the master bedroom closet floor.
Now, item number 121. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And where is this? Is this the master bedroom still, or do we go somewhere else?
No, this is another bedroom up there, I believe.
Okay. And there was, what are these on the floor?
They were some kind of spongy material in the middle and sort of a batting kind of fabric it reminded me of, like for quilting, that kind of batting stuff that they put in a quilt. I'm not, but that's what it looked like to me, I don't know.
Exhibit number 122. Where are we now?
Standing in the backyard, taking a photo towards the house.
And do you recall, there's a sliding glass door in that photo. Where does that lead to from your recollection?
To the great room.
Okay. And the photo to the left, or the window to the left of the photo would go into that same great room?
Yes, closer towards the futon.
123.
A photo of the back of the house on the right side of the sliding glass door.
124.
Another plastic plaything in the backyard.
125.
The window into the office.
126.
The window into the office showing those slats separation.
127.
An area on the side of the house, looking from the backyard would be the right side of the house, where there's a shed and refuse or recycle containers.
Big bag of trash with newspaper in it, right?
Yes,
128.
that's from outside the gate, moving sort of more towards the front of the house with a notice from the animal control.
And there was also a vehicle parked in the driveway, correct?
Yes,
And what kind of vehicle was that?
it was a Dodge truck.
Okay. Did you take photographs of that vehicle as well as part of this initial processing?
Yes,
Exhibit number 129. Tell us what we're looking at.
a Dodge Ram pickup truck.
Is that the one that was sitting in the driveway that day?
Yes,
130. What are we looking at?
looking in the right side of the Dodge Ram pickup truck.
The passenger side, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And the full door and the half door are open?
yes.
131.
Items on the right rear seat of the Dodge pickup truck.
Is that the right rear or the right front?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a glove box. Right front.
Okay. There's like a video camera, and some CDs and stuff.
Yes.
132.
Of you looking in the driver's side of the truck?
Guess what? I get to skip ahead again.
Well, we go ahead and take our evening recess this time. It's after 4:15. We take our evening recess this time until 9:30 tomorrow morning. Again, keep in mind you have been issued previously given to you not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else, not to allow anyone to discuss the case with you or in your presence. And again, that means not discussing anything about the case, witnesses, testimony, exhibits, parties, or attorneys. And we'll see everyone back 9:30 tomorrow morning. And Mr. Williams, I'm afraid we'll meet you at 9:30.